Good afternoon and welcome to what is possibly the most famous racing city in the world for this, the biggest race of the year for the sport of karting. Yes, we are at Le Mans in France for the 2015 World Karting Championships. Thank you for joining us live on Motors TV all across the United Kingdom and across Europe. We are just a few moments away from the first of our three finals this afternoon. It is the KZ2 International Supercup for the 125cc gearbox category. You can see the karts are ready to go on the grid. The crowd is building at this 1.384 kilometre circuit that is Le Mans as we take a look at the reigning European champion, the Swede Joel Johansson, who will start from the front row of the grid. Well, the crowd has built. It was raining very heavily this morning here at Le Mans, but the rain has cleared. It is a dry circuit. Well, we mentioned this is the most famous racing city in the world. Let's take a look at some of the build-up to this, the 2015 World Championships here at Le Mans. Yes, the tension is building as we are just a few moments away from the start of this, the KZ2 International Super Cup here at Le Mans in France. The crowd is building as well. Thankfully, the rain has disappeared, although we got around about 9 or 10 millimetres of rain this morning. The grid is ready to go. The front row of the grid is France versus Sweden. It is Thomas Laurent in the Tony kart to the right of your screen, alongside Joel Johansson, who picked up the European Championship at Genk in Belgium just a couple of months ago. Well, there is tremendous excitement in the air here at Le Mans. The dignitaries are arriving. In fact, we just saw the president of the FIA, Mr. Jean Todt himself, arrive just a few moments ago at the circuit. He will join us for the official podium presentations, which you will see live here on Motors TV, as these 125cc gearbox karts are pushed into life. 6-speed gearbox, 50 horsepower, 4-wheel disc brakes and a top speed of just under 100 miles an hour here at this magnificent Le Mans circuit. That is Joel Johansson. He will start out of grid number 2. The driver behind him on this formation lap is Thomas Laurent in the Vortex-powered Tony kart. He will start out of pole position, as you can see on your screen. We also have Pierre Lepré, the second Frenchman, out of grid number 3 alongside the Spaniard Pedro Hiltbrand. Charles Fior is alongside the Dutchman Dylan Davis. Lorenzo Complesi alongside the fastest qualifier in the Supercup, Nicole Gonzalez. The former European champion Fabian Federer starts out of grid number 9 alongside the German Tom Lorkowski. We look down through the field to the former winner, Joey Johansson, starting out of grid number 19. Out of grid number 20 is Alessio Piccini, son of the great Alessandro Piccini, 4 times world champion. A lot of work to do for the likes of Philip Hall, who was fast in practice for Ward Racing, but out of 21. Michael Christensen had a great pre-final, but finds himself out of grid number 30 after being penalised for a racing incident. Fabrizio Rosati scraped into the pre-final. Remember, into the final, I should say. Remember, we started with 96 drivers from all around the world. With an Antarctic exception, drivers are representing every continent on Earth here at Le Mans. This is the second formation lap, the KZ2 International Super Cup. This is approximately equivalent to the GP2 category of racing. Technically, very little difference between this and the KZ outright class, which will fight for the World Championship later on this afternoon, live here on Motors TV. Second formation lap, the LeConte tyres being warmed up by these drivers as they round the final few corners of the circuit. They will pull into their grid positions, pull the clutch, put the gearbox into first, and wait for the 4 red lights to go out. We will have a standing start a la Formula One. Then we'll be off for this, the biggest race of the year for these KZ2 drivers. Thomas Laurent, the pole sitter, the Frenchman, with a lot of home support here this weekend, is on the right of your screen. The reigning European champion, Joel Johansson, in the 101 Energy Kart, is alongside him. Petro Hiltbrand, second in the Euro Series behind Johansson. He's behind him also on the grid here this afternoon. Watch out for Nicolas Gonzalez out of grid number 8 in the Soddy kart. There's Hiltbrand number 102. The final karts roll into position at the back of the grid, including the lights of Paolo Bossonsonet, the local driver from France in the Tony kart. Don't discount him coming from the back of the grid. We are just a few moments away from the biggest race of the year, the KZ2 International Super Cup. 4 red lights go out and we are racing. It is Thomas Laurent who rockets into the lead off the line. Joel Johansson will follow him through as they make their way down to turn number 2 and 3 for the first of 22 times here at this Le Mans circuit. Charles Fior in the Soddy kart, who started out of grid number 3, has had a dreadful start. He's been pushed back to 9th or 10th. He's in fact been pushed out into the dirt on the opening few corners of this race as they come through the chicane for the first time. It is Thomas Laurent in the Tony kart from Joel Johansson. The Swede in the Energy kart, Petro Hiltbrand, made a reasonable start. It looks as though the Spaniard is in position number 4. In the number 102 Tony kart, it is the Soddy kart of Pierre Loubert fighting up there in position number 3 as they come through for the first time. A great start by Thomas Laurent. He had a fantastic run through the heats yesterday. Many are picking him to take the win here this afternoon, and he's doing a great job of the start so far as Petro Hiltbrand all over the back of Pierre Loubert on this, the opening lap. This is the chicane. Loubert in the Soddy kart, the French driver in the French-made Soddy kart, fights off the Spaniard. Hiltbrand in the CRG, of course. Dylan Davies also in the CRG. The Dutchman is in position number 5. You can see him just on the tail of the leaders, ahead of Lorenzo Complesi, Nicole Gonzalez, Fabian Federer, and Tom Lukowski. Kevin Engman, the Swede, rounds out the top 10. But a brilliant start by the French driver, Thomas Laurent. You can see him adjusting his visor down the back straight. 6th gear, 140 k's an hour. Lorenzo Complesi in position number 6, coming under tremendous pressure from, it looks as though, Nicole Gonzalez. Fabian Federer also, the Italian in the CRG. There he goes through at the tail of this field. That is your race leader from France, the 119 Tony kart, powered by the Vortex engine. Of course, all these drivers on the LeConte tyre. As the field settles down in the opening laps of this race, Johansson goes through in second, just ahead of Pierre Loubert. So we've got France 1 and 3. We've got Sweden in second, Spain in 4th, and the Flying Dutchman. There he is, Dylan Davies, in the black race suit, rounding out the top 5. Through the banked hairpin at the far end of the circuit, where the crowd has built to several thousand here at Le Mans this afternoon. Up the back straight, 6th gear. Pierre Loubert locks it up under brakes. He's coming under pressure from Petro Hiltbrand. The Spaniard, you can see right in the tail of, in the slipstream, in fact, of the Frenchman. 147 kilometres an hour. He pulls out. He has a look. Let's see what he can do under brakes. Loubert blocks the inside. This allows Johansson to pull away just a little bit. Hiltbrand looks over his shoulder. There's a little bit of daylight back to the Dutchman, Dylan Davies. The CRG pilot still sits in 5th place. Tom Lukowski, the German, is 9th behind the Italian, the former European champion, Fabian Federer, who sits in 8th. This is Pierre Loubert. from Petro Hiltbrand. Dylan Davies just out of picture at the moment. Thomas Laurent, your race leader, looks over his shoulder. Johansson grabs 6th gear. Oh, Johansson under attack from Loubert. That's going to cost the Frenchman, though, because Petro Hiltbrand says, thank you very much. I'll go through and take 3rd place. But the Spaniard takes it back. They're going to be 2 and 3 wide. Lorenzo Complaci gets involved in this, as does Nicole Gonzalez. The French drivers are desperate to win here at Le Mans. There goes Gonzalez in the Ayrton Senna replica helmet, driving the Sodi kart. You can easily pick him out. The fastest qualifier has moved up into position number 3. Thomas Laurent now with a lead of 1.6 seconds. We have already done 4.5 laps of this 22-lap final. Joel Johansson in 2nd spot with a little bit of a gap back to this battle. Loubert, Gonzalez, Hiltbrand. There's Gonzalez going through in 3rd spot from Petro Hiltbrand. Hiltbrand's going to be in the slipstream. Gonzalez blocks him up the inside. Dylan Davies in the CRG tries the outside line. He's the 142 kart, the CRG from Holland. Gonzalez under pressure. Surely this time will we see a move? They all look over their shoulder. Gonzalez knows he has to block the Spaniard. Hiltbrand in position number 4. He finished 2nd in the European Championships to the driver who is now in 2nd, Joel Johansson. He was desperately disappointed on that day at Genk in Belgium. He really wants to win this race. He's struggling to get up on the podium because Nicole Gonzalez, fastest qualifier, is in position number 3 in the French-made Sodi kart here in France. It's an Italian-made kart that he's leading. That is Thomas Laurent, the French driver in the Tony kart. From the Swede, Joel Johansson in the Energy kart. Dylan Davies has to defend desperately from Fabian Federer, the European champion of 2012. Now he himself is coming under pressure from the blue and yellow kart of the German Tom Lukowski. His Gold Kart teammate Alberto Cavalieri was in this battle, but Cavalieri's been involved in a bit of a battle there with Stan Pex. Cavalieri in 8th, ahead of with Pex and Luca Corberi. Alessio Piccini, who we spoke about on the grid, he's come from grid number 20 to be in position number 11 in the factory Tony Kart entry. Just behind his Tony Kart teammate, Luca Corberi, who currently sits in position number 10. Gonzalez, a little bit defensive. You can see him, as we mentioned, with the Senna replica helmet, easily picked out on this Le Mans circuit. Turns that helmet and looks behind him. Tremendous pressure from Petro Hiltbrand. Look at the gap that Joel Johansson is now pulling away. Dylan Davies has been passed by Lukowski in the gold kart. He's in fact in a gold kart sandwich. You can see the blue and yellow karts as they come down the start-finish straight. Alberto Cavalieri. He's trying to get past the Dutchman. Cavalieri, position number 8. His gold kart teammate Lukowski is in 6th. It is still Hiltbrand all over the back of speedy Nicolas Gonzalez in position number 3. So we've got a French driver in 1st and 3rd, and the Swede Joel Johansson. As we mentioned, the reigning European champion sits in position number 2. Well, Joel Johansson, he finished runner-up in the European Championships 3 times before he finally took out the title. Early this year, he's sitting in 2nd spot, and he's got a lot of work to do. In fact, he's got 2 seconds if he's going to catch the leader, Thomas Laurent, who you saw flashing through at the bottom of your screen. There's the 2 Tony Kart pilots, Alessio Piccini and Luca Corberi. What a lead by Thomas Laurent. He's extended it. The gap is now out to 2.4 seconds. Well, it mightn't be a French-made kart, but it is a French driver leading here at Le Mans in France. Looks over his shoulder. It is 2.416 seconds, in fact. Back to Joel Johansson. Gonzalez and Hiltbrand still fighting out for position number 3. Federer is driving superbly. He's in position number 5. Remember, he started at grid number 9. There's the gap from your leader. Here at Le Mans, the KZ2 International Super Cup. You're watching it live here on Motors TV. The biggest race of the year as they come up the back straight. Hiltbrand over his shoulder. Back to Federer. Lukowski, Stan Pex. Stan Pex, the Dutchman. He finished on the podium at the final round at the Euro Champs at his home circuit of Genk in Belgium. Usually wearing the race boots of his good friend Max, surnamed Verstappen, the Alpine Stars racewear. He's trying to get every tenth of a second, every ounce of speed out of that CRG stand, sitting in position number 7. The TM-powered CRG, cart number 109. Federer, another fastest lap. You can see him now, just at the back of this battle. Hiltbrand in the CRG from Spain. He's very, very close to the back of Gonzalez now. In fact, they're both catching Johansson just a little bit as they pull 6th gear up the back straight, braking very, very hard from 140 kilometres an hour down to just over 60 k's an hour into that left-hander. This is the final corner of the straight. 5th gear, 6th gear, 147 kilometres an hour right at this point before they brake hard down to 3rd gear, 68 k's an hour before up through the gearbox. 5th gear once again, 90 k's an hour before braking hard through this right-hander here. There's Johansson in the energy cart. Gonzalez still in second. The lead from Thomas Laurent is now out to almost 3 seconds. They're not even in the same screenshot. There's Johansson in second, and he's slowly being caught by Nico Gonzalez, who himself is dragging along Petro Hiltbrand with him. That's almost the entire length of the back straight. Johansson, desperate, under brakes. There goes Fabian Federer. He's gone past his CRG teammate. Well, the Italian's gone through on the Spaniard. From grid number 9 up into 4th goes Fabian Federer, the European champion of 2012. He is only one place of standing on the bottom step of the podium. And who knows, they're all catching Johansson at this rate. The Swede in second, but the gap is diminishing. You can see Johansson from Gonzalez. Federer, very, very smooth driver, the Italian, as casual as you like in the pits, but when he gets behind the wheel and puts that helmet on, he is ferociously competitive. He's just got the better of his CRG teammate, Petro Hiltbrand. There is Gonzalez in the Sodi kart on screen. The gap last time round was just under 3 seconds. There's your race leader, Thomas Laurent. Let's have a look back to Joel Johansson. It's 2.9 seconds. Well, this is half race distance already. Thomas Laurent, many drivers picked him to take out the title in 2015. He won the French Cup earlier in the year, racing a privately entered Tony kart. And he's got a tremendous lead here at his home circuit. This is the battle for 2nd, 3rd, 4th and 5th. You can see Joel Johansson. He's under tremendous pressure now from Nico Gonzalez. Surely he cannot hold on for another 10 laps. He's now having to drive defensively. This is going to be a tremendous fight for the checkered flag. Johansson, let's see who pulls out of the slipstream. It is Federer! Fabian Federer, the European champion of 3 years ago. He touches with Nico Gonzalez. Petro Hiltbrand gets involved. Federer gets pushed out wide, and Gonzalez goes from 3rd to 5th to 4th. He's back in 3rd. They are side by side down the main straight. Petro Hiltbrand in the slipstream. Federer tries the outside, but he's washed out wide. He's coming under pressure now from Alberto Cavalieri in the gold cart. Fabian Federer was almost had 1 foot on the podium, but now he's 3 places away. While all that was happening, Gonzalez took the place back, and look at that. Joel Johansson, they were right on his rear bumper a few moments ago. He's disappeared up the road. We thought he'd have to drive defensively for the remaining 10 gaps, but now he's got breathing space. There's Johansson. He's got the leader back in his sights, but the lead from Thomas Laurent, the Frenchman, is now out to 3.2 seconds. So they come into the final third of this race, which is going like the blink of an eye. Nicolas Gonzalez, Hiltbrand in second. Let's see if he can pull out of the slipstream. Under brakes from 148 kilometres an hour. That's 92 miles an hour here at this Le Mans circuit. Can't make the move that time. Through the double right-hander. Gonzalez, Hiltbrand, Federer, Alberto Cavalieri. Well, he had a great pre-final, but he was penalised for a technical breach. He's had to start from grid number 18. He's now in position number 6. He's just recorded an equal fastest lap of the race, 52.748 for Alberto Cavalieri. There he is in the blue and yellow kart. Just going through at the bottom of the screen, there's the green and white Tony karts of Alessio Piccini in 9th, and his teammate Luca Corberi rounding out the top 10. Down the start-finish straight. Well, that pressure from Gonzalez, Federer and Hiltbrand on the back of Joel Johansson just a few laps ago, it's disappeared. They go through the chicane. Gonzalez, he's got a little bit of a gap now on Pedro Hiltbrand. They were wheel to wheel a few laps ago, but the race has just settled down a bit with 6.5 laps remaining in this, the 2015 KZ2 International Super Cup. This is the World Karting Championships coming to you live from Le Mans in France. There's your race leader, Thomas Laurent, with a 3.5 second lead over this man in the 101 Energy kart. Joel Johansson from Sweden driving the wheels off that go-kart, but he cannot make inroads on the leader, the home favourite, Thomas Laurent. He might be in an Italian-made Tony kart, but he is a French driver, and the French crowd, which is several thousand here at Le Mans this afternoon, despite the inclement weather, are willing him on to take a victory here this afternoon at one of the most famous race circuits in the world. We look back through the field. Charles Fior, well, he started on the front row of the grid. The second row of the grid. He's back in position number 10, fighting with Luca Corberi. Lorenzo Complesi, he's faded a little bit. Andreas Fassberg, winner of the opening round of the European Championship. The Dane is down in position number 15 as Gonzalez goes a little bit defensive on Pedro Hiltbrand. Laurent, you can see Johansson grab another gear in that energy kart. Gonzalez defensive, hard under brakes down the back straight. The final few corners of this lap before they start up through 5th and 6th gear. This is the start of lap number 17 here at Le Mans in France. There's Johansson. The blonde Swede, no relation to the former Ferrari Formula One driver Stefan Johansson, despite the surname, despite both their involvement in motor racing. We asked Joel, are you any relation? He says no. Johansson's a very common name in Sweden. It's as common as Smith or Thompson or, well, Johansson. There he is, the energy kart pilot, powered by the TM engine. Always gives 110%. As we mentioned, 3 times runner-up in the European Championship, but he finally took out this title in 2015. He sits in 2nd place. He won the title from the driver who is currently just behind him, 2 places behind him, Pedro Hiltbrand, the 102 CRG, still behind the Frenchman Nicole Gonzalez in the Sodi kart. Just going down through turn number 1 and 2. The complex there. Alberto Cavalieri, the Italian from just outside Milan. A brilliant drive thus far. He's come from grid number 18, but he cannot improve that position because he's got Federer, Hiltbrand and Gonzalez right ahead of him. There on your screen right now. Through the chicane, over the chicane. They smash the ripple strips in these 125cc gearbox karts. Gonzalez, a little bit sideways under braking that time. Laurent, as smooth as you'd like down the back straight. Gonzalez, he looks over his shoulder. He has to block the inside. Hiltbrand, but Federer. He did this 10 laps ago. He tries the outside. He thinks better of it this time. There's Cavalieri. Is this his opportunity for the Italian to get up on the podium? He's dragging Stan Pex along for the ride, the Dutchman. The top of your screen there. Gonzalez, the most defensive driver here at Le Mans this afternoon. Well, officially, these karts can only be 1.4 metres wide. They have a rear track limit of 1,400 millimetres, but I reckon Nicolas Gonzalez is making that Sodi kart about 3.5 metres wide here at Le Mans this afternoon. He currently occupies the bottom step of the podium. He uses all the racetrack and then some as they come up through the banked hairpin at the far end of the circuit. He's sideways under brakes. Those tyres are starting to go, and Pedro Hiltbrand knows it. That's your leader, Thomas Laurent, the bottom of your screen. Johansson in 2nd, then it's Gonzalez. Stan Pex had a look at the outside of Cavalieri that time. There's the Dutchman. Fabian Federer in the 113 CRG kart. So we've actually got CRGs in 4th, 6th, 7th. 102 is the best of them. That's the Spaniard Pedro Hiltbrand, but he's still not on the podium. There goes the Tony Kart driver. Alessio Piccini, Luca Corberi. Christian Haberlin, the Croatian driver in the Tibi Kart, just on the outside of the top 15. He'll be a bit disappointed by that, but a driver who will be absolutely ecstatic if he can hold on for another lap and a half will be the Frenchman at the bottom of your screen, Thomas Laurent. He is moments away from glory here. That's your race leader. He will take the last lap board the next time round. Here he comes down the start-finish straight. The big French crowd are willing him on. He grabs 6th gear. Down into turn number 2. The fight is on for the final step of the podium. Behind him, though, there goes Laurent through turn number 3 and 4. He's got this one in the bag. No doubt about it. It will be a French victory here this afternoon. For this man, Thomas Laurent, if he can hold on for another half lap. Joel Johansson, he has consolidated 2nd spot here this afternoon. The fight for the final step of the podium is all on the 2 CRG's touch. Gonzalez has been pushed wide. Petro Hiltbrand has gone through into 3rd spot. Cavalieri from grid number 18 is now in position number 4. There is your race leader, Thomas Laurent. He shakes his head. He can't believe it. He's just a few corners away from glory here at Le Mans. It is going to be a French victory. The checkered flag comes out. It will be Thomas Laurent. He wins the KZ2 International Super Cup. Joel Johansson is ecstatic with 2nd place. Across the line is Petro Hiltbrand. The Spaniard did take position number 3 on the final lap of the race. Cavalieri from grid number 18. Absolutely sensational drive from the pilot from Milan. He finishes in 4th, ahead of Nicole Gonzalez. Good drive by Stan Pex. Brilliant drive. In fact, he's come from grid number 14 to finish 6th. Head of Lukowski, Piccini, Corberi, and Fabian Federer. He was looking at a podium spot. He is now down in position number 10. That is where the Italian, the former Euro champ, has finished. But we have got a French victory today. It might be aboard an Italian go-kart, but the huge French crowd here at Le Mans this afternoon have seen Thomas Laurent take victory in the KZ2 International Super Cup. You saw it live here on Motors TV under very overcast skies here at Le Mans. There's the provisional classification. Thomas Laurent, Vive la France, has won from the Swede Joel Johansson, and Petro Hiltbrand makes it an all-European top 3. Cavalieri, as we mentioned, from grid number 18 to finish 4th. Nicole Gonzalez, he held on for position number 3 for most of the race, but has finished in position number 5 at the end, ahead of Pex, Lukowski, Piccini, Corberi, Fabian Federer. Wow, what a sensational race. Thomas Laurent, he's been a class act all year. As we mentioned, he won the French Cup earlier in 2015. He won 5 of his heats yesterday afternoon, and he has dominated to win ahead of 95 other drivers from all around the world the KZ2 International Super Cup here at the most famous race circuit in the world, that is Le Mans in France. Wow, we'll take a breath here at Le Mans. The KZ2 International Super Cup. Don't forget the big one coming up later on this afternoon. That is the KZ World Championship. We will be underway with the official podium presentations, which will be an amazing spectacle here at Le Mans. Arguably the best podium in the world to take place in just a few moments' time. Well, the skies are overcast, but the rain hopefully will hold off. But we've seen our first victory, and it has gone to a French driver on his home circuit. Thomas Laurent, aboard the Tony Kart, has won the KZ2 International Super Cup for 2015. Joel Johansson was 2nd. Petro Hiltbrand finishes in position number 3. Well, we'll take a look at the highlights of this race, which was won just a few moments ago by Thomas Laurent. Off the start, we'll see you at the podium in just a few moments. Well, the drivers are making their way onto the podium. You can see the crowd roaring. We will get underway with the official podium presentation here at Le Mans. As the drivers take a breath, they put on the LeConte tyre hat, official tyre supplier here at Le Mans for this, the 2015 KZ2 International Super Cup. We will call to the bottom step of the podium, driving the CRG from Spain, Pedro Hiltbrand. In second place, for Team Energy Kart from Sweden, the reigning European champion, Joel Johansson. The winner of the KZ2 International Super Cup for 2015. We started with 96 drivers. We've come down to one. He has won ici en France. Let's hear it for Thomas Laurent! We also call to the podium the winning team manager, Monsieur Frédéric Roudon. And now, appropriately, patriotically, we stand by for the national anthem of France. The third place trophy to presented by Monsieur Jean-Pierre Deschamps, President de la Commission Nationale de Karting. The second place trophy to be presented by the Secretary General of the CIK FIA, Mr. Kay Oberreiter. The joint president of the Automobile Club de l'Est, Mr. Patrick Gros, will present the winning trophy to Thomas Laurent! And the winning team trophy to be presented by Monsieur Frédéric Renard, General Manager of the Automobile Club de l'Ouest. Now the girls will present the flowers to our podium place getters. Pedro, Joel, and of course Thomas. Well, what a fantastic scene this is. We'll step in for a quick word here with the Spaniard, Pedro Hiltbrand. A brilliant drive, third here today, a great result.
It's been a really hard race until the last lap. I didn't be in the podium, so I'm really happy. I want to say thank you to all my team CRG, my mechanic, and all my family. Thank you.
Thank you, Petro. Joel Johansson, reigning European champion. You were twice runner-up in the European Championship. A brilliant drive today, but you just couldn't quite catch Thomas here this afternoon.
No, today Thomas was too strong for me, but I'm very happy. After Friday we didn't expect anything of this. We know we were strong, but we have done a great race. All team have been working so hard and never give up. And big thank you to all of the team and my family and everybody that supports me. Thank you.
Congratulations, Joel. Your winner, notre vainqueur, Thomas Laurent, ici en France. Thomas, you have won a brilliant drive. 100 drivers from around the world. You have won here in France. How do you feel?
It's wow. It's wonderful.
Thomas, a very competitive field. The fight was on for second and third place. You destroyed them. You won by nearly 4 seconds. The Tony kart was brilliant.
Yeah, the Tony kart was very good. My team did a very good work. It's genial.
And to win, a French driver to win here at Le Mans. How do you feel?
It's fantastic. Only fantastic.
Félicitations, Thomas. Ladies and gentlemen, notre podium ici aujourd'hui. Our podium here today. Well, stay with us on Motors TV. We will be back in just a few moments with the final of the CIK FIA Academy Trophy. Then, of course, the big one later this afternoon, the KZ World Championship live from Le Mans here in France.